So recently, the legendary Joe Jusko completed the first three covers for the Mars novels for the Edgar Rice Burroughs Authorized Library. The Edgar Rice Burroughs Authorized Library is a reprinting of all of Burroughs' works, and it has Joe Jusko covers and archival material in the back, and they've already got all the Tarzan novels out, and now they're moving on to Mars. And so you're looking at the first cover here for A Princess of Mars, and I've already walked you through how he made this in another video, and I'm going to walk you through his creation process that he posted on Facebook for the other two covers. And so this is Joe Jusko's preliminary drawing for the second novel, Gods of Mars. And John Carter is in a fight scene with the plant men, and if you look in the background, you'll see Tars Tarkas. Here's his pencils for the painting itself, and this is a scene that takes place early in the novel in the Valley of Dor, and so this is a great action scene, very iconic. And before he starts painting, he's got to know where those colors go, so he does this color guide, and then here is the start of the painting, and you can see he starts with the backgrounds, always a good place to start if you're an artist. And so he starts with the sky, he starts with the trees, and we see him putting in layers of detail into those trees, and he just kind of builds up different layers of detail. And if you're thinking to yourself, this doesn't look like Mars, well, that means he nailed it, because that's exactly what John Carter thought when he arrived at the Valley of Dor. It's a very exotic looking place. Most of Mars is very barren. This is a lush forest and very alien looking trees, very eerie looking, very much captures the feeling that you would think that you would get in the Valley of Dor, fighting the vicious creatures that are trying to kill him. And so just beautiful, beautiful stuff. I mean, just great, great backgrounds. And so then he starts in on the ground, and he's going to build up the detail on the ground, kind of get that texture going. And then we're going to move on to the plant men. Plant men are big, they're blue, and they are weird looking. And I think this painting captures the look that Burroughs described. They are massive creatures. Burroughs's Martian monsters are large, and that makes them a very big challenge to get in with a human-sized hero. Putting the plant man on his back is a pretty clever way to do it. You'll notice he has a sucker on his claw. That's how he drains the blood of his victims. And the skin on this guy looks fantastic. Look at all the detail, all the musculature put into this absolutely bizarre Martian monster. And then we put the final touches on the plant man, his eye and his hair, and we also do John Carter. Now, John Carter is wearing clothes, which I think is a little bit of artistic license. If I remember correctly, he arrives to Mars naked and would not have any clothes at this point, but, you know, it looks better this way. And here's a closer look at John Carter. I think he looks fantastic. Nice harness, you know, just really captures a very cool look for the character. And here we have the finished cover, and he does the background with Tars Tarkas fighting the white apes in the background. And here's a close-up of Tars Tarkas fighting the plant men and the white apes in the background. And this is fantastic because white apes are one of the most iconic monsters on Mars. And it's a very clever idea to put them in the background because, again, they are so big compared to John Carter. This is a great way to get a full profile of Tars Tarkas and the white apes in there while still having John Carter be sizable in the foreground. And that does it for that cover, but Joe Jusko also does the frontispiece for the novels. So here's his sketch of a banth, which is a 10-legged Martian lion. And so you can see how he does this. This is going to be a black and white ink piece, and he really does nail the crazy look on the banth. That is one of the things it's known for, is just having this wild look. And of course the 10 legs, which is challenging to draw, but here's the finished piece with John Carter fighting a banth. Banths are also rather iconic creatures from the Barsoom series, and I suspect we'll be seeing more of them in Thuvia Maid of Mars, which is the fourth novel that they'll hopefully get around to this year. And so now we move on to the third novel, and that is Warlord of Mars. And Joe Jusko decided to go with this action packed fight scene between John Carter and the Yellow Martians on these spiraling stairs. And yes, on Mars, usually most of the buildings have ramps instead of stairs, but stairs do occasionally appear in the Martian buildings in the Edgar Rice Burroughs novels. And so Joe Jusko had two different color schemes. This one is a little more muted on the stairs with a yellow roof, and this one with these really wild colors that this is the one he went with, kids. And so you're in for a treat. And so he starts with that ceiling, and he's trying to get some textures on it. And you can see a close-up of the ceiling here, and he adds in the colors for the backgrounds. And you'll notice he's trying to do a lot of textures, and it just looks really, really nice. And it's very nicely done. Here's a kind of a video walkthrough he posted on Facebook, just kind of giving you a look at the details in the background. It's really gorgeous, nice, ornate sort of background for the Yellow Martians palace here. And so now he's done most of the characters except for John Carter and this one guy is throwing. But you can see the Yellow Martians who inhabit the Arctic north of Mars. And in the background, there's Dija Thorez with John Carter's trusty and companion Woola, who is hideous but cute at the same time. And here's a close-up of those poor Yellow Martians who are trying to fight John Carter. You can just see the anguish on these poor guys. And you can also see the exotic furs that they're wearing, which look really, really cool. And then he finishes out the Yellow Martians and puts on their harnesses and the clothing and this poor guy getting thrown. And it's just such a great kinetic action scene. It just really just pops off of the canvas here. Just fantastic stuff. And then, of course, lastly, he works on John Carter, and he is building up layers of paint on John Carter, putting in more and more detail on our hero. And I gotta tell you, John Carter is sporting some epic sideburns here, and he looks great. And here is the final painting. This is a little video tour Jusko did of the final work, and it looks amazing. I love the fact that he left all that space up there for the title. It's not going to cover up any of the action, right? And then, of course, that does it for this particular painting. And the one thing about the Mars novels that occurred to me after seeing these three paintings is that in the Tarzan novels, Burroughs tends to separate out Tarzan and his supporting cast. He likes to separate out the characters and give them all their own action subplots. But unfortunately, that means they're rarely together for a cover image. The Mars novels tends to have more iconic scenes, more action scenes with their characters together. And so it makes it easier to either pick a scene or come up with a symbolic cover that has those characters together. And so in these first three covers, we got John Carter, Tars Tarkas, Dija Thorez, and Woola, and that's pretty awesome. And for the frontispiece, we're outside in the snowy north of Mars, and an apt, which is this giant creature you're looking at, is attacking our heroes. It's quite striking and quite action-packed, very intense kind of image. And there you have it. The first three covers for the Mars novels are done. These will be solicited as a set of 3 novels, and it should go up sometime this year, probably sometime very soon. So keep your eyes out. They're coming from Edgar Rice Burroughs Inc. That's where you're going to be able to pre-order them from, but they'll be available at other booksellers as well. And they look fantastic, and I really love the fact that Joe Jusko is doing the covers for the authorized library. And of course, after this initial 3 set, they'll be moving on to the other novels in the Mars series, and then onward to Edgar Rice Burroughs' other works. And of course, I'll let you guys know if I hear anything on these novels going up for pre-order. All right, like and subscribe for more videos. And until next time, see ya.